What's going on, everybody? Ronnie DiMaggio here, product specialist at BMW of Morristown, and in today's video we are doing a walk around and overview with this 2024 BMW X5 M60. So the X5 is all new for 2024. It got an LCI, a life cycle impulse, that is a mid-cycle refresh in BMW terms, and we already did a video on an xDrive 40 where we really detailed the changes for the LCI model. So in this video we're going to focus on the M60 specific stuff. So obviously the M60 is the entry-level V8, the step below the X5M, but the step above the xDrive 40i. So we'll talk about the powertrain, which is all new for this M60 model. We'll talk about the visual cues that indicate that it's an M60, those changes versus an M Sport 40i. We'll hop inside, we'll talk about the interior, we'll talk about the styling, and we will give you a thorough tour of this 2024 X5 M60i. So let's get started with a general overview of what the M60 is, where it fits in the BMW lineup, and why it's important. Then we'll get into powertrains and talk about the styling after that. So let's get started. All right, so before we pop the hood and talk about this new V8 for the M60i, I just want to quickly talk about where the M60 fits into the current X5 lineup. So for 2024, there are four main versions of the X5. You have the entry-level 40i, that's your 3-liter turbocharged inline-six, which you can have with all or rear-wheel drive. Then you have the 50e, that's the same 3-liter turbocharged inline-six from the 40i, but with hybrid tech paired onto it for almost 500 horsepower, which is a really compelling hybrid option. Then you have the M60, which is what we have here. This uses a 4.4-liter twin turbocharged V8, the S68, which we'll talk about in more detail in a minute. And then you have the X5M competition, which has that same V8 in a higher state of tune and with all the M goodies that come with an M car. So bodywork, wheels, suspension, differentials, all that good stuff. So where does the X5 M60 fit in? So the X5M also has a V8, but it has stiffer suspension, it has much more aggressive bodywork, it has really nicely bolstered sport seats, it has a louder exhaust, so it has all those things that M enthusiasts and a lot of people would like, but it's much more expensive, and some of that can be a little bit too aggressive for some people. So if you want an X5 with V8 power, but you don't want to go all the way up to the M competition, the M60 exists to fill that gap. You get that V8 feel, the V8 power, the V8 sound, but you don't have to sacrifice ride quality, and you don't have to go for a more aggressive look and sound. It's a little bit more subdued, sort of like a baby X5M that slots into a more affordable price bracket. So that's where the M60i fits in. Now let's go ahead and talk about this engine. All right, under the hood of the 2024 X5 M60, you will find BMW's new V8 engine. This is the S68. It's a 4.4-liter twin turbocharged V8 engine. This replaces both the S63 and the N63. So the N63 used to power cars like the X5 M50, X7 M50, M550, 750 in previous model years. Now, all those cars, or most of those cars, have been switched from the 50i name to the 60i name, like the X5 here, and that means they're powered by the S68 rather than the N63. Now for upcoming V8M cars, like the XM, which is already out, of course, the upcoming M5, things like that, those will use the S68 as well. So you're getting an M engine. It is a true M engine. It has that S as the first digit in the engine code, so it's a true M engine. However, it's powering regular series cars like the X5 M60. This is not an M car, but it is powered by an M engine, which is pretty cool. So for M60s, both X5 and X7 and X6, it makes 523 horsepower, 553 pound-feet of torque. It's paired exclusively to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and in M60 cars, it comes with an M Sport differential at the back as standard, which is really cool for both handling and snow, mud situations. The M Sport diff is really nice to have. So that is the drivetrain in the X5 M60. Really powerful engine, really potent. It's also paired to 48-volt mild hybrid tech, which is new for the V8s. The old M50 did not have that. The N63 never got that. So nice to see that it is advancing both in efficiency with mild hybrid tech. It's much more efficient than the N63 and the S63 that it replaces, but it's also more powerful. Now, the power numbers are actually identical to the car that it replaces. So M60, M50, they're rated at the same horsepower and torque. torque numbers. However, I'm really certain that the S68 is pretty severely underrated in all of its applications, but definitely in the X5 M60 here. I'm sure it's making close to that horsepower number, 523, probably at the wheels, if not maybe a little bit more. BMW underrates their horsepower numbers quite a bit, and when they develop an all-new M engine, an S series engine, and put it in a series car, they don't want to step on the M car's toes. Now, I'm sure the X5M is more powerful and is quicker than the M60, but they figured for the press release, it just looks better if they have the same horsepower numbers, I guess. But it is probably more powerful than 523. It's definitely more powerful than the N63. I have no doubt about that, even if they're rated at the same. So that's the engine, that's the powertrain. Let's go ahead and talk about the styling. Up front with the 2024 X5 M60, we have two main points I want to touch on. To start, those are the LCI changes, and then we'll talk about the M60 specific changes. So for the LCI stuff, we detailed this quite extensively in our first X5 LCI video, which we linked to earlier. So in that video, we'll go into a little bit more depth, but I'll run through them here as well, just in case you missed that one. So we have new headlights, we have a new grille design, and we also have a new front bumper design up front. Now, that's everything in the front bumper. The headlights, the grille, and the bumper is the entirety of the front fascia. So it's all new, it's all redesigned for 2024. The headlights got slimmer and sleeker. They sort of got smoothed out. The daytime running lights are also reshaped. The grille just got sort of massaged, reshaped a little bit. No major changes, no differences in size, increases or decreases. And then the front bumper got an all new design as well. So overall, obviously, the entire front fascia is new, so it's a fresh, a modern take on the G05 X5, a nice LCI from BMW. Now, the big change that sticks out is the headlights. So the headlights, specifically the daytime running lights, are new for 2024, so they feature these dual arrow designs that point outwards in each of the front headlights. Together, that creates quad headlights, which is BMW tradition, so nice to see that is continued. And the options for the headlights are a little bit unique, so I'm going to talk about them really quick. So there's three ways you can get the headlights in the 2024 X5. You have the base headlight. If you order the car and don't spec any options, you'll get the base headlight. Then you can upgrade to the full LED, which has those blue accents like the laser lights used to. Or you can get the M Sport Professional package, the shadow line lights, which this car has, and that will get you the full LEDs, but it will delete the blue accents in favor of the shadow line, the blacked out look in the headlights. So those are the three ways. If you want the shadow line package, you can't get the blue lights. If you want the blue lights, you can't get the shadow line package. So those two are mutually exclusive. So that's how you order headlights on the X5. I just like to clarify that because I was a little bit confused by it when we were trained on it. So interesting little tidbit about the ordering. As far as styling goes, I really like what BMW's done with the front end of the car. Like I said, the grille has been kept to the same shape, so it's still a familiar BMW kidney grille. It's not been kept to the same shape, but the same design, I should say. The shape is a little bit different, but still very BMW, very X5, looks really nice. The lower part of the bumper has been updated quite significantly to match BMW's new sort of corporate design language, with that big centerpiece in gloss black below the grille, and then those two shapes on either side for air intakes. Then you have those nice L shapes on the far edges of the bumper to sort of complete the look. It's a nice chiseled looking grille, very modern, very aggressive. I think they did a really nice job. Now, for the M60 specific stuff, the only M60 specific item on the front of the car is this grille. So the front bumper is the same as a standard X5. However, from your angle, you can see, I guess, two things that are unique: the mirror caps, the M-wing mirrors, and the grille. So the grille is by far the biggest one and my favorite. So you get a true traditional vertical dual slat M grille, which is really, really nice. That used to be reserved to M cars specifically, but now the M cars are going to the horizontal grille slats, and the M Performance or the M Light cars are getting the vertical dual slats, which I love. I love this look, so I'm really glad BMW has gone with this. I think it looks really nice. It emphasizes the M character of the car without going full M, because now that's horizontal grille type. So that they've both delineated the M Performance and the M cars quite nicely, and they've also given the M Performance cars a M Touch from past years. So I think they did a great job with the grille. Overall, I think the front end styling is really nice. I think they've done a really good job, and the M60 with its subtle changes wears the front end styling perhaps best of all X5 models, save for the X5M, but that is, you know, totally redesigned. So we're excited to get one of those and do a video on those as well. But that's the front. Let's move along to the side. All right, along the side of the X5 M60, there's not a ton to talk about. There's really only one change that is specific to M60i models. That is the M winged mirror caps. Another M traditional piece of styling that has trickled down to the M performance cars. I think it looks really nice, and I don't think it waters down the true M cars. It's a mirror cap. The M cars are so much more than just mirror cap. So I think the M performance cars getting the M winged mirrors, I think that's a good decision because they look cool and everybody put them on aftermarket anyway. So I really like the M wing mirror caps on the X5 M60. Helps you tell it apart from a standard X5 when it's in your rear view mirror. So nice piece of styling there. Those are in black. We have 20-inch wheels. These wheels are not M60 specific. You can get these on any M Sport X5. They're a nice wheel design. These are carryover from pre-LCI. They're not the most crazy. They're pretty subtle. They're just a nice, classy, clean wheel design, but you can option some bigger and some more elaborate wheel designs if that is your preference. But you have 20s all around, 275, 45, 20 square wheel setup. Now with M Sport Professional, that unlocks the ability to customize your brake caliper color. This car has blue brake calipers. You can get red as well with M Sport Pro. I think blue's a good choice for this one because if you haven't already been able to tell, I can't believe I haven't mentioned it yet, but this car is in individual British Racing Green. Absolutely beautiful color, and I think the blue complements that really nicely. Outside of just having British Racing Green brake calipers, which might be too much green, I think the blue matches it as best as any color could, so really nice color combo there. And then we have Tartufo inside, which is really nice. We'll talk about that when we get inside, but something that is new for LCI is that side vent, which is right behind that front wheel. That's new, that's been restyled, so it has those three sort of gills in it, which looks really nice. That's not M60 specific, as sporty as it looks. You get that on normal M Sport X5s as well. Moving along the side of the car, not a ton to talk about. Again, not a ton of changes for M60. You have your gloss black roof rails, your black window trim. You have your really nice and prominent Hofmeister kink all the way out back. I'm glad X5 keeps that tradition alive. You have your blue floating rear caliper out in the back behind your 20-inch rear tire. Like I said, square setup. But that is the side of the car. Let's move around to the back. All right, around back with the X5 M60, let's start by talking about these taillights. That is the headline change for the rear end of the 2024 X5. They have been just reshaped, redesigned for 2024. They're definitely more 3D looking. You can see that the sort of ledge in the taillight is pretty deep, so they have a really cool 3D design to them. The actual lighting elements are also redesigned with what BMW calls the X motif. So the outer edges of the taillights form sort of half an X shape, which looks pretty cool. And they're a little bit more smoked out, a little bit darker, which is a nice improvement on the pre-LCI as well. The other minor change for the LCI is actually M60 specific, so you have sort of a pseudo quad exhaust. So obviously it's not a true quad exhaust that you get on M cars with 4 individual exhaust tips. However, you do have a trim finisher on the exhaust tips that sort of emulates a quad exhaust. It has that line down the middle, so there are 4 openings, but only 2 real exhaust outlets. So those are the 2 changes for the LCI. Now that latter change, the exhaust tips, only applies to the M60 version. The M50 did not have those exhaust tips, but obviously the taillights applies to every X5. So those are the changes. As far as M60 specific stuff, there's really not a ton. You get those exhaust tips and you get the badging. Otherwise, it's just M Sport X5 stuff back here. Again, I think that's one of the benefits of the M60. It wears the M Sport suit, but it has the X5M or similar close to X5M power. So it's really nice and subtle, and I think that benefits the X5 M60 quite a bit, whereas the X5M is more powerful, is higher performance. However, it also is a little bit more bold, a little bit more aggressive, so you don't have to get that aggressive with the M60. So overall, I think the back end looks great. Like I said, it's very minimally changed from pre-LCI. It's really just those taillights and the exhaust tips. I think it looks really, really nice. BMW has kept the X5 classy. I think it's one of our best looking SUVs. So that's the rear end. Let's go ahead and pop the trunk and talk about the practicality. All right, let's go ahead and pop the trunk on the 24 X5, where you'll find a plenty spacious and plenty practical cargo area. So the X5 has this really nice tailgate, which you can sit on. You can see it supports my weight totally fine. So I really like that about the X5. That definitely adds a little bit of practicality, the split folding tailgate. As far as cargo capacity goes, as you can see, plenty of cargo space in the X5. With only 5 seats, you cannot get the X5 with a third row. So with 5 seats, you have plenty of space for 5 people's luggage back here for a weekend trip or a nice big grocery haul. Taking the kids to hockey practice, baseball practice, throw the bags in here, it's no problem. The X5 has plenty of cargo space. I imagine for the vast majority of folks who are considering it as an option for their next car, the X5 has enough cargo space to suit your lifestyle in the vast majority of cases. So that's the cargo space that you can see. You can lift up the trunk floor and expose quite a bit more cargo space, really impressively large amount of space under the trunk floor there. Now obviously that's if you don't option the space saver spare. If you option the space saver spare, all of this space gets taken up by the spare tire. So worth noting, but plenty of trunk space in the back of the X5. Let's go ahead and hop around to the rear seat to see what the space is like back there. All right, here we are in the back seat of the X5 now. You can see that I have plenty of space back here. The X5 has a really nice, spacious back seat. This driver's seat is adjusted to my own position, and this passenger seat is adjusted roughly equal with the driver's seat. So sitting behind myself, I have plenty of knee space, multiple inches of knee space. I can put my feet comfortably under the front seat. I can sit straight up, and I have plenty of headroom. So the X5's back seat is plenty spacious, either for car seats, if you have kids back here, those will fit just fine, or if you're sitting 2 or even 3 adults, you can definitely make it do. The center hump is extremely small, so sitting in the middle seat is not the end of the world. Really nice and spacious back seat, and it also has some nice practicality to it as well. So you have really large map pockets with bottle holders. You have 2 USB-C ports, 1 on each seat back, and then you have 2 more down here in the center console along with a 12-volt power outlet. So you have really expansive charging options. You do have, with the climate comfort package, you get heated rear seats as well as 2-zone climate control for the back, totaling 4 zones of climate control if you pair the front's dual zone. So overall, the back seat of the X5 is a really good place to spend time. It's comfortable, it's spacious, and it's practical. You have all the charging and whatnot. And if you'd like, you can option it with the rear side shades, which this one does have, manual rear side shades. So overall, really nice place to be in the back of the X5, but let's go ahead and move up to the front passenger area. All right, sitting in the 2024 X5 is a very nice experience. So let's get started talking about the ergonomics and the driver touch points. Starting off with these seats, these are very comfortable seats. They are the multifunction seats. You can see I can move the upper part of that backrest independent of the rest of the backrest, which is nice. You also have these nice adjustable headrests, so you can pinch those sides in so they sort of cradle your head a little bit better. So really nice, very comfortable multi-function seats. You can adjust the thigh support manually, side bolsters are electronically adjustable, and then you have your forward, back, up, down, and then your tilt adjustment. So very highly adjustable seats. They will suit a very wide array of body shapes and sizes, so just about everybody can be comfortable in the X5. Now, I'm about 5'9". The only thing that I think I would like if BMW changed about this, I wish they would make the seat go a little bit lower, because I say I'm 5'9" because I say that to emphasize that I'm not a very tall guy, but I have the seat totally bottomed out, and I wish it would go like 2 inches lower. Not for a lack of headroom, but just for getting the driving position that I prefer. But that's a very minor gripe in what is otherwise an ergonomically really well done car. So the steering position is fantastic. So the center line of that BMW roundel, that point in the center, lines up just perfectly with the middle of your chest, which is great. So the seat and the steering wheel interact very nicely from an ergonomic perspective. The view out of the hood is fantastic. The hood does not take up too much of your eyesight, and the fact that it drops down really nicely at the beginning, so it's really easy to place the car when you're driving it. The corners all feel like they're really easy to get a sense of, so moving the car in and out of the showroom, backing it in to tight spaces around our lot is really easy. That is in part due to the fact that the X5 M60 has rear steering, integral active steering as standard, which other X5 models do not. So that's nice. That helps with the turning radius, definitely makes it more maneuverable in tight spaces like that. As far as materials quality on the touch points, the steering wheel feels fantastic. Really nice, supple, smooth leather. Really easy 9 and 3 grip. Nice 10 and 2 notches if you like to drive like that. But a comfortable wheel. Armrests fall at the same height They're nice and soft, so this center armrest is nicely padded, as is this side armrest. They're also heated with your heated seats, so it's just a comfortable place to be from a materials and an ergonomic standpoint. As far as tech in the X5, we do have iDrive 8 now finally for the 2024 model year X5s. We've talked about iDrive 8 at great lengths in various other videos, but I'll just go over it quickly. So you have your fully adjustable instrument cluster. So the gauge cluster, so to speak, is pretty highly adjustable with the little button on the steering wheel. You can cycle through your different layout menus. You can have a map, radio stations, a G meter, horsepower and torque gauges, whatever you like, shown in the middle of the gauge cluster. And then in your center screen here, you have your really nice 14.9-inch center infotainment display. This is where you have your touchscreen capability, but you also have the iDrive controller if you prefer to control the center screen with the traditional BMW scroller wheel. In here, it's all really, really nicely done. It's really snappy and responsive. The resolution is really, really good, and the functionality is pretty seamless. Car integration with your phone is really easy. CarPlay and Android Auto both wireless. You have enhanced Bluetooth, so you can hook up multiple phones at once. It all just works really nicely. It's nicely designed. It's really easy to get used to and use. So iDrive 8, I think, is really nicely done in the X5. As far as trim goes, this car has carbon fiber and it has the merino leather interior with Tartufo coloring. So really nice spec. I mean, British Racing Green with Tartufo and carbon fiber is the best spec possible for an X5 M60, so really nicely done. Whichever one of our sales managers spec this one out, great job, looks awesome. This car is available for sale, by the way, at least at the time of recording this video. If you like the spec as much as I do, give us a call. But I think carbon fiber goes really nicely with the Tartufo. Even though Tartufo's a little bit more classy, like elegant color, and carbon fiber is more aggressive and sporty, they work together pretty nicely. And then British Racing Green is great as well. As far as equipment on the X5, the M60 comes standard with premium package, which is awesome. That gives you heads-up display, that gives you glass controls. Down here with the iDrive knob and the start-stop button and the shifter, you get Harman Kardon as standard, so nice standard equipment with the M60. Really, really easy to option these cars up way high up with individual colors and fancy wheels and all the equipment packages, but you can also get them, this one's spec to about $103,000, which is a pretty high spec. You know, it's an individual color. It has a lot of nice options. You can go even higher than that if you wanted to, but the standard equipment on the M60, even if you got it at the base price, which we'll put in the description. As always, we have a full price breakdown of the car that we show in the video in the description, full window sticker. So if you get the car at the base price, you still get good standard equipment. So you still get like the M Sport diff, you still get Harman Kardon, you get integral active steering, your rear steering. So there is no base M60. There is no like bare bones M60. They all have really nice equipment, which is good that BMW goes that route instead of nickel and diming you on every little option. There's plenty of options to choose from if you want extra luxury features, but everything you would expect it to have, it has as standard, which is great. So that's the interior, really nicely done, really comfortable, and it's definitely a place I could see myself spending quite a bit of time. It's just a really nice, well done, technologically advanced while still comfortable and easy to use interior. So good job, BMW. This one is a winner in my book. I think it works great. So that is the interior. Let's go ahead and hop outside and we'll wrap up with our final thoughts. All right, that's going to do it for this walk around and overview with the 2024 BMW X5 M60. Please forgive the lawn mowing going on in the background. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video on the X5 M60 as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. This is a really, really cool car, especially in this spec. British Racing Green with Tartufo on the V8 X5 is awesome, but overall, it's just a really great car to have in the X5 portfolio. You get V8 power, but you don't have to sacrifice the ride quality and the sort of outward appearance of the X5M. I love the way the X5M looks. It looks incredible. I would totally go for one if my budget allowed, but for those folks that want something a little bit more subtle, a little bit more under the radar, you can still have the power and that little V8 rumble without going all the way up to the M car. So it's just a great option for a lot of folks. The X5 M60 is nicely refreshed for 2024 as well. You get the fresh design, the fresh engine, the fresh interior, lots of new stuff to be excited about with 2024 X5. So it's a good time to be in the market for an X5. And if you are, give us a call at 973-455-0700. Stop by at 111 Ridgedale Ave or DM us on Instagram at BMW of Morristown. Either one of those three options will get you in touch with us and get you on your way to your new X5. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at BMW of Morristown. Drop a comment down below if you have any questions about this X5, any other X5, or anything BMW related. We are super responsive in the comments. Any suggestions for future videos? We've been getting a lot of those lately, which we love. That's really awesome. So if you're leaving suggestions, I really appreciate that. Thank you. Please continue to do so. We'd love to hear your guys' feedback. So that'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.